Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Students, welcome to my channel Ahmed Skills Academy. In today's tutorial we will study about chemical equilibrium. Before starting the video, all those students who are new in my channel, so please like my channel, subscribe my channel and press on the bell icon in order to get notification about the new videos. So let's start. What is chemical equilibrium? Equilibrium is a Latin word which means balance of forces, and it is basically the state when there is no detectable change in the system. For example, if a body is at rest position, it is neither moving in one direction, neither moving in another direction, so it will be said to be in static equilibrium. There is no change in the position of the body from its own place. Now, equilibrium is of two types. One is static equilibrium and another one is dynamic equilibrium. Now, static equilibrium is the equilibrium when a body is at rest position and it doesn't change its position at all. That will be said to be in static equilibrium. For example, if we consider the example of a wall which is standing on a floor or land, that wall is neither moving in one direction, neither tilt in the other direction, but it is standing at its own position in a stable way. This type of equilibrium in which a body is stable at its own position, it's called as static equilibrium. Let's move to another example. If you put a pencil on the tip of your finger and it is placed in such a way that it doesn't move at all at one direction or other in the other direction, so it will be said to be in static equilibrium. If we place a book on a table, now till the time you don't apply any type of force on this table, on this book, it will remain stable, it will remain static at its own position. You have to push it either in one direction, either in the other, either you have to take it in your hand, so you will change the position. The book itself is not changing its position, it is at equilibrium state. So such type of equilibrium in which a body is static at its own position is called a static equilibrium. Second portion is dynamic equilibrium. Dynamic means movable. Static was standing at its own position, but dynamic is there is continuously moving from one place to the other and from other back to its own position. So this type of equilibrium in which there is a movement of the phases of the matter, that is called as dynamic equilibrium. Let's suppose a chemical reaction is occurring and it is occurring at the same rate in forward direction as well as in backward direction. It means the number of particles moving in forward direction is same to the number of particles moving in backward direction. So such type of reactions are said to be at dynamic equilibrium. Or the equilibrium in which different phases of a system readily interconverts into each other at the same rate. That is, for example, we take the example of water. When water is evaporated, so water is converted into vapor state, and after some time the vapor state, it condenses back into the liquid state. Now there is a movement of water into its vapor state and vapor back into the liquid state, but this movement of vapors and liquid again and interconversion into each other is basically called as dynamic equilibrium. Let's clear it with the help of a small diagram or example. I have written an example that conversion of water vapors and vapors back into the liquid state at the same rate. This is one example. A chemical reaction in which the rate of forward reaction is equal to the rate of backward reaction, that is called as dynamic equilibrium, and the reaction is also called as reversible reaction. Now let's see, if we take a container which is closed, if it is not closed, then there will be only evaporation. The water will be converted into vapor state, but the vapors will move in the air and it cannot be converted back into the liquid state. But if the container is closed, now the vapors are evaporating, it strikes at the top of the container. Let's see, these vapors are going from the water, it strikes the top of this container, and after some time the condensation starts and these vapors are converted back into the liquid state. Now the upward movement is called as vaporization and the downward movement of the molecule is called as condensation. So evaporation and condensation, they both occurs at the same rate, so that's why this physical phenomena is called as dynamic equilibrium. If I write down here, there is evaporation and condensation, they both are occurring at the same rate. One is forward process, another is backward process, but both are occurring at the same rate, so this type of equilibrium is called as dynamic equilibrium. Remember that in dynamic equilibrium there is no detectable change in the physical appearance of the reaction, physical appearance of the molecules in the container. It means that the water level, it will not be decreased. You cannot detect that the water level is decreased because the number of molecules which is going to be evaporated, the same number of molecules are going back to the liquid state, so both the processes are continued at the same rate. Another example, that is chemical reaction between hydrogen and iodine. In this case, hydrogen reacts with iodine to form hydrogen iodide. One is called as forward reaction, another is called as backward or reverse reaction. In this case, the rate of forward reaction is equal to the rate of backward reaction. So this type of reaction are basically called as dynamic equilibrium. You may write down it that this is the rate of forward reaction. Rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of reverse or backward reaction. So such type of reaction are also called as dynamic equilibrium. Now the next is what is the difference between reversible and irreversible reaction. It is also the part of the equilibrium conditions, equilibrium chapter, equilibrium states. So that's why it's a normal short question which is normally asked in the paper, that differentiate between irreversible and reversible reaction. So let's move what is reversible and what is irreversible reaction. The irreversible reaction is the reaction which only proceeds in one direction, that is from left to right. I have written that the reaction which proceed in one direction, and the direction will be from left to right only, L to R, left and right. That means that only reactant will be converted into products, but products cannot be converted back into reactants. Now another example, the reaction which goes to completion in one direction, it is also called as irreversible reaction. What is reversible? Opposite to the irreversible reaction, the reactions in which the products can be converted back into reactants, which are proceeding in both the directions. Reactants are converted into products and products are converted back into reactants. These type of reactions will be called as reversible reaction, and in which the directions are both. There is one is forward, another is backward direction. So such type of reactions are termed as reversible reaction. There is a remarkable difference between the two. If we write down it in a comparison, there is irreversible reaction proceed in one direction while reversible reaction proceed in both directions. Irreversible reaction, it goes to completion, but reversible reaction cannot go to completion. It's always moving in both the direction with the same rate, so it doesn't goes to completion. The irreversible reaction is represented by a single headed arrow which is pointing from reactant to products. I have drawn an arrow that is pointing from left to right or from reactant to products. But on contrary, represented reversible reaction is represented by a double-headed arrow in which the arrow above is shown as forward reaction while the arrow below the first one is called as backward reaction. In case of irreversible reaction, equilibrium cannot be achieved at all. It doesn't goes to completion, it doesn't proceed in both the direction, it always goes to completion. It is pointing from reactant to products. When products are formed, reactants are finished and nothing is remaining in this process. Now equilibrium cannot be achieved in these type of reaction. But in case of reversible reaction which occurs or which proceeds in both the directions, same number of reactants are going to be converted into products and the same products are converted back into reactants. So in this case a dynamic equilibrium is established between the reactants and products. This is a small difference between reversible irreversible reaction and an introduction to equilibrium. Okay, what is equilibrium and what is the difference between reversible and irreversible reaction? After this video, we will move towards further explanation of the law of mass action and other questions. Till the time, if you like this video, please subscribe my channel and press on the bell icon for more notification. Thank you.